I had a cafe in Melbourne CBD. We were pretty good. However, we had Corona. And then, it was minus 98% of profit. And then what I did was I asked him, hey, come to Victoria. Let's open a bakery cafe together. I found a lady, hook them up. They are married now.
How many hours of practice, like leading up to the Worlds, do you reckon you were putting in?
So we had 3 different patterns. You have to make 3 different creative patterns. So one pattern I replicated 100 cups a day.
I've been in to Tone Coffee, your cafe, and there is one drink in particular on the menu that always draws a crowd. Can you tell us what is the Tiger Bomb and how did you come up with it?
Guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Rowan Cook. I make coffee on the internet.
And I'm Ben Bicknell. I judge people who make coffee, but only at competitions.
And together we are It's Just Coffee, the podcast of people who know it's never just coffee. And how good is an unexpected coffee story? I sometimes a lot of people will wonder, can I turn my hobby into something more? Is it possible to just go from being a barista to maybe owning a business? But today's guest proves you absolutely can do that.
Yes. Yeah, it's great to kind of see those journeys emerge. But there's a lot more behind them, I think, than we often know. So it's going to be good to jump into that. And this guest today literally moved country, started up in coffee, got behind a machine, got obsessed with latte art, and then just a lazy 2 years later, World Latte Art Champion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
That's insane to do it that quick. That has to be like in the top 1%ers of people doing something like that. The best thing about him is he doesn't kind of have that chosen one energy. And I feel like this story kind of pushes that you can do this too. This is from discipline. This is from repetition. And this is from practicing your craft. Stuff any home brewer or barista can kind of take home and take away.
Yep. And it's kind of a journey and a roadmap, I guess, that we've seen like a few people take, but he's kind of moved from barista to head barista, cafe manager, roaster, and then cafe owner. So it's kind of a great roadmap that we can look at how people can take these steps step by step.
Yeah, so if you're sitting at home listening and going, could I actually do that? I think this episode is going to prove to you that yes, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show,
Caleb Chung.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you for having me here.
And he's looking so dapper as well. I hate when I get outshone by a guest. They're just coming in. He was saying that his wife helped him pick out this jacket, and I need to get some of that designer help in my life.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea where this is from, but it's just.
Well, who cares? Because you look fly as hell, man. You look
awesome.
really great. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apax Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apax Lab mineral concentrates. Apax Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apax Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apaxlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought he was going to say the website. Thanks.
We put so much effort into our espresso, dosing, distributing, tamping, weighing. But then in so many cases, a cafe will just take whatever milk they happen to have available and throw it in and call it a day.
I know, and milk actually makes up 70% of all coffees ordered. So you could argue that great milk is just as important as great coffee.
Definitely could argue that.
Oh, I couldn't, I did.
Our great sponsors of the podcast, Riverina Fresh, have a milk that is made for coffee specifically, and it's used by some of the best cafes around the country and, in fact, World Barista Champion.
Yeah, this gold range that they actually have here was designed alongside a World Barista Champion to be richer and more indulgent to pair perfectly with coffee.
If you want to check it out, they are doing a sweet deal for Australian-based cafes, and you can get a free trial.
That's exactly right. You can get a free trial straight to your door. Just head to riverinafresh.com.au and see if your cafe is eligible. And why wouldn't you? Serve up the ssame milk as World Barista Champions. Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good. Haven't done this in a while, but I just want to start off. The question that I like to ask is, how do you drink your coffee every day? Like, what's your go-to coffee order?
Well, whenever I go to cafe, I order espresso or sometimes magic because it's typical Melbourne, Australian.
Leaning into the Melbourne thing. Yeah,
so,
I love that.
Yeah, do that. And it's very, very occasionally order filter. Yeah, only if I have like a very special coffee right there, then can I have that one? But mostly espresso or magic.
I love that because, I have gotten out of the habit of ordering espresso. And, we've had a few conversations about this, but I think it's actually kind of hard to find good espresso these days. So maybe I'm a little burnt by that of just like people aren't focusing on it as a beverage category. I don't know if do you have really bad experiences with espresso?
Well, yeah, most of the times, yes, but I wouldn't really touch that. But however, the cafe that I go, or even my cafe, that's why I try to focus on the quality of the espresso shots, the combination with the milk. That's all I focus.
What cafe are you going to? Give them a shout out.
Can I say?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Maker, you're doing well.
Oh, yeah. I was calling out Maker. And, always a nice vibe. Like I found good service when I go in there. Really love the guys down at Maker. And I think they listen. Yeah. So there you go.
G'day, mates.
Little shout out to you there. Now, I kind of mentioned at the start, we were talking about like the unexpected cafe, the unexpected kind of coffee professional journeys and where they come from. Yours is especially amazing having, moved to an entirely new country, moving here to Australia, and then, kind of jumping into the cafe scene. You talk about your early days being quite intense working behind the bar. Can you tell us a little bit about like what brought you here? What kind of sucked you into the cafe culture and the cafe world? What were those kind of early days for you?
Well, I was born in Korea, grew up in Korea until I got 29 years old. And then my life was like exactly the standard life as most of the South Koreans. Like you go to school at this age and you graduate and you get the job. And then when the certain age, you need to be ready for the weddings and stuff like that. And I was really, really tired of that. And one day I just look at the sky, the flight was like across the sky and maybe I should take that one. So I resigned straight away and applied for the working holiday visa. Yeah, I fly to Melbourne straight away, like immediately. So of course, from the day one in Melbourne, struggle with no experience, no English, with a huge language barrier. And then the fun story, I was more influenced in American English back then. So at the airport, I was going to ask like, hello, how are you? Where can I take the bus to downtown?
Where is the nearest Starbucks?
Where is it? Yeah, something like that.
Downtown.
And then the guy told me that, you go outside and you go turn right and blah, 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 blah. I was like that was an alien.
You're always pocketing me lighter, mate.
Yeah. So I thought I was in English spoken country, but this is not English.
No, it's not English.
So all problems start from there. Anyway, so for my second visa, went to the farm and came back to the city. And also I worked in a Korean restaurant because of the language barrier and the no experience in Australia. So no one wants to hire me. I was able to work there, speaking Korean, some English with the customers, but still those English was still very alien, Greek to me. Anyway, spent 6 months there. I realized it's very hard to save money because I got $8 an hour.
Ooh, yeah.
So working 6 hours a day, that means even less than $50 a day. It's very hard to survive. And then I realized, this is not going to work. And then that's the moment I started to look for something different. That was the coffee. So I went to William Anglis.
Well-known hospitality
Well-known
kind of school.
Yes, it's a coffee school. I went there, but the course was very expensive. Beginner and advanced combination course was like around 800 or something. But that's the all money I had in my pocket. I was like, oh, should I do? No. Yes. And I put all my money in and I took the class from Melissa.
Right, Melissa
Yes,
Kaya,
yes, Melissa.
World Barista Judge.
Yes, yeah, she inspired me a lot, like you did. So I learned the coffee from Melissa. That was an entire, total different world. Like the first feeling of the group handle was like, why so heavy? And then getting the coffee in the filter basket, I was like, what does that do? So learning so many things there. And then fortunately, I was able to get a job in a cafe in the Melbourne CBD straight away. It was a very lucky. I'm going to have to say it was very lucky. And then there was a very busy cafe. Spent 10 kilos a day, like pumping, nonstop, like making coffee.
And I assume this is when we were like splitting shots still and doing that. So 10 kilos is like...
Yeah, back then, maybe you experienced like there was no kind of like scale, no like electronic buttons. It's just like flick, tap.
Rub it off on the
Manual
top.
dosing.
Manual dosing. There's no even tamper. The tamper was attached on the dosing chamber. It's called dosing chamber. That's not exist anymore. But it's attached on the dosing chamber. You just lift
the
it
tamp.
up.
And you just like push it up and like
Yes,
the whole
push
machine.
it up. Yeah, just like that, and then, yeah.
But also I feel like 10 kilos back then is a lot more, like we're doing a lot more double shots now, or people are doing like double rizzies and that. So you're going through twice the amount of coffee. So think like 10 kilos a day back then is kind of like 20 kilos a day now.
Yes. It was intense. Even when I was sleeping, I was like sleeping like this, moving my... Yeah, so it was but still, I make money. Compared to the previous Korean restaurant, I made $8 straight up to $17 an hour.
Oh, game
Pretty
changer.
good. Yes. So, yeah.
You must have been just out there blowing cash. And so when you got bought into that of like doing coffee, was there something though that triggered in that moment? It must be hard when there's shifts that intense, but was there something that triggered where you were like, oh no, I actually love that? Or did that come a bit later?
Yes, absolutely. Because I realized that, I love coffee. I love making coffee. And I love serving customers. Because slowly I get a regular customer that want a espresso from me. And then, this is a moment of the hospitality. However, still speed and execution was there. I was very fast. But still the quality, also the knowledge wasn't there. I knew it. So I decided to get a new job in a better cafe, like specialty cafe. And I got a job.
Which one?
Now it turned into Code Black. But before Code Black, very, very long time ago. So I was finally surrounded by the coffee professionals. They were like experts in extraction and milk steaming and all the latte art stuff. It was a completely new world. I was like, wow, this is the place I have to be. And I learned heaps of things from them. That was the moment I was like, I'm in the right industry.
Yeah.
And I feel like doing that, you did it the right way. Like going into a place where you have to make a lot of coffees quickly without maybe as much of the knowledge, but you've got efficiency. Then you go into somewhere where they can teach you all the little intricacies and ins and outs. But they're like, this is great. We've got someone that can hammer out a bunch of coffees really quickly. Yeah. That's a really great way to do it. So we'd mentioned before, World Barista Champion.
World Latte Art Championship.
It should be barista.
He's a barista.
World Latte. Yeah, doing latte. It's the same thing. World Latte Art Champion, did it in 2 years. When was that moment that like doing latte art, you were like, I love this and want to take it to the next level?
Yes, I think it was around 2010. I was very, very focused on the coffee, especially I learned all the different single origins and extractions and that. So I was very, very passionate about coffee. Around 2010, one day, previous boss showed me a photo of the latte art and then asked me, Caleb, can you do this? And I looked at it. I was like, maybe. And then a few attempts, I did it. And then he was very surprised. Caleb did it. And then realized that pattern was like from the world champion of previous year.
All right.
Which means 2009. So I had a goosebump and then weird feeling that, oh, I just poured the world champions pattern. Then maybe I can be the world champion later in any time, like in very soon. So, and then that moment I fully focused on the latte art, practicing more deeply. However, there was not many latte art experts around. And the YouTube channel wasn't very developed back then. So mainly self-taught. All the Q&A was like, oh, why can't I? Why can't I? How am I supposed to fix these issues? Yeah, that
Which
period.
takes 3 times as long to learn. Like now when you're exactly told this is what you're doing wrong, but when you have to do it by self-learning, it's such a longer process. It's rewarding, but it's a slog.
And so you found you had a natural kind of skill at kind of pouring. And obviously I'm sure those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of coffees every week definitely helped with the technique. So you went through, you got better and better at latte art, won the Australian Latte Art Championships. So now you're on the way to the Worlds, right? I've judged competitions at the world level for quite a while, and I know how intense the preparation for them. Not like, oh, I'm just going to make some coffee, steam a little bit of milk. You know, there is discipline, practice, like a particular mindset. You obviously ended up winning the World Latte Art Championships, which is just incredible. You know, were there any particular things that you did to prepare and get ready for that, or techniques that you think helped rise above?
Yes. Now we don't have technical judge in the World Latte Art Championship, but back there was a technical judge, and then technical score is easy to lose. You know, it's just you should have that score baseline, and then you shouldn't lose any points from that. So I was very aware of it. So I had my technical judge. Every time I practice, I have my technical judge to check my workflow and stuff, everything. So my technical score was,
Coach.
yes, as a coach. Yes, that is very important. And also I divided all my presentation in workflow. So after call time, the greetings, like 10 to 15 seconds, for example, like time. Judges, welcome to my station. I'm very happy to have you here, blah, 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 blah. So no over 15 seconds. And after that, your first course, like free pour, not over 3 minutes. So you check all the times. And back then we had macchiato in the final. Macchiato, 1.5 minutes, no over 2 minutes. So that makes everything finishes in 9 minutes, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
After the final speech, 30-second final speech. So practice in that frame. Like if I go over 3 minutes or something, redo it. So the rest is a repetition. So fit in that frame. So finish in the time in 9 minutes, 45 seconds. That was the only repetition I did for the Worlds.
How many hours of practice, like leading up to the Worlds, do you reckon you were putting in?
Well, that's a good question. So after hours, I started practicing. So we had 3 different patterns. You have to make 3 different creative patterns. So one pattern I replicated 100 cups a day.
A day?
So it's in total.
Some cafes are hoping to sell 100 cups a day.
Yeah. So in total, 300 cups daily. So I had no day off. So Monday to Sunday, every day practice. That means around approximately 2,000 cups weekly. And then I had 6 to 7 weeks to the Worlds after national. So that one's 7 weeks. That means 14,000 cups replicated.
14,000 cups of latte art to prepare for the World Latte Art Championships. It worked. You won.
Won it in 2 years. And it's a good reminder to everyone of like, you know, you look at it from the outside and you're like, oh, look at this person winning and doing it. It's like the hours and the time spent there. And this isn't a one-off story. We've heard it from Shinsaku. We've heard it from Georgia, from Western Australia. Like, and it's also outside of hours. People are also doing a full 8-hour shift and then just staying on to continue doing this. So there's so much dedication and passion there.
You kind of mentioned before we started recording today that you also were really focused on that kind of workflow and almost the mechanics or the step-by-step process so that by the time you turned on stage, it was just automatic. How did you kind of lay out that flow?
So Competing in the World Latte Art Championship is a time attack sort of format. So you gotta finish before 10 minutes. So if you go over 10 minutes, you lose 1 point by 1 second, which is brutal.
1 point every second.
1 point every second.
Well, you almost write yourself off as soon as you're going over.
Yes, so it's brutal. So I really had to make all my workflow efficiently. So no like time wasting moments like you're doing repeating same movements. So I just cut down to one movement can solve everything, something like that. Yeah. So I was able to shorten the time more efficiently. Yeah.
Now, there's actually been some petitions to introduce a new element to the latte art competition, which is, in a few coffee competitions, they have the round where you're kind of thrown a random coffee, right? And it's like, make this good. I hear they're saying they want to do a latte art comp where they just throw you a random jug. Like it might be like a watering can. It could be like a boot and you have to pour latte art from it. What do you guys think about that?
Yes. I think, is there one person calling for this competition versus...
I've never seen a blanker look from Caleb. He's just like, you are an idiot.
Well, what's some of the weirdest things that you've poured from or into?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
For me, I have no experience like that, but I've seen before someone was pouring latte art in someone's mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that.
I've done a shoe. I've done an avocado.
You poured into a shoe?
Yeah. It was after the shoey got famous from the F1 or whatever.
And you drank it after?
So we celebrated the shoey.
The shoey.
It had a wild fermentation, let's just say. Now let's jump into just some basics for anyone that's listening in who's maybe wanting to get into latte art or their latte art looks like Casper the Ghost, just like a blob on the top of their coffee. What are the 3 fundamental tips you'd give someone who's trying to master latte art?
Right, it's a really good question. If you're a beginner, you need to really focus on your milk correct.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to understand how you steam appropriately and correctly. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to draw any latte art. It's very important. So learn how to steam properly. You need to be able to get the microform to draw some patterns, or also you have the right amount of milk in the jug. Some beginners go like too much milk in there and sometimes you spill everywhere. And it's very hard to pour into the cup when you have too much milk in your jug. Or if too less milk, it's going to go everywhere.
It'll bubble.
Again.
It'll be a jacuzzi.
Yeah. So your milk quality it's not going to be good as like a dishwashing form, something like that. So you need to be able to do that. And also do not just rush into it. Make a coffee canvas clean as you can. I know it's difficult, but you need to be able to control your milk flow to have that clean coffee canvas. That's also very important.
When you start, it should be from about 5 centimeters away, a thin stream like the size of a pencil, and it should be poured so that the milk falls through the crema and underneath, so you have that beautiful brown canvas.
I suggest you start from the center of the espresso, not the side of the espresso, because the cup is round. If you go from the side of the espresso, that milk will make your espresso wobble to the other side. So aim in the center of the espresso, pour gentle. Please do gentle. Gentle, fill it up gently. So then you need to be able to do that. And also the last one, don't jump into the intricate, complex patterns. Just start from the monk's head, like my head. Just go, make sure you have beautiful, round monk's head in the center of the cup. That's the way, because you need to able to pour that monk's head, that you understand the mechanism, pouring and receiving. Most of the beginners don't understand how that works together because they mainly spill. So even spilling is the issue. So you need to pour, go all the way together. So that makes a beautiful monk's head. So you need to master that first.
And the monk head, it allows you to not worry about the other details of latte art, and it allows you to control flow rate and how that affects the pattern coming out. Because if you pour too slowly, you'll only get a small, and if you pour too fast, it'll kind of blow out around the cup. So it'll help you work with flow control that's going to help you master every other pattern that you can possibly do.
Correct. Yes, that's right. So also you try multiple times, faster, slower. So you should have your own speed. Milk flow, the speed of the milk flow in the cup. So that's very important.
I love that framing of the idea of pouring and receiving. I think that's a really neat way of capturing that idea. we really want that control over as your milk comes out of the jug into the cup. How is that kind of stabilizing the canvas, as you said, of crema? But then how does it kind of receive as you change your speed, your angle, a little bit of agitation, shuffling the jug side to side? How does that help shuffle out that white foam on top? So it sounds like the core fundamentals there are steam your milk, learn how to steam milk really well. So that's microfoam, getting that really nice. Portion control of how much milk is in the jug because it really changes the angle. And then we've got slow and steady pouring and receiving of the milk into the cup. I think that's great. Awesome tips. I'm going to go back to those basics because mine is terrible.
I also I don't know if we said it then, the starting point when you set your canvas from a bit higher up, then as you lower it, the closer you kind of get to the top of your liquid of the crema, that's when the pattern will start to appear. So as you lower, that's when you see it appear, and that's when you change that flow rate to make the pattern kind of circulate throughout the cup.
You're the master of latte art.
No, not at all.
What do you think is a kind of a good shape for people to start with aside from the monk's head? They're just going straight to hearts?
I would say no need to do the hearts. Yeah, nowadays, I don't think you need. You can go straight to the tulip. Yeah, 3-layer tulip.
Oh.
Yeah, you can heart, but what does that mean? What does that mean? Maybe
Love.
yeah, love. But we're living in 2025, and then you want to shift up your skill, go straight into the tulip. 3-layer tulip for the beginners or who's looking for the job. Pouring tulip is the essential.
Yeah.
Rather than just pouring heart. So that's what I'm saying. Once you're successful in the monk head and then go fill it up a little less and then repeat that pouring action, then that's the tulip. So yeah.
See, I'm about to disagree with a World Latte Art Champion on the sides. I kind of think the heart, in a similar way to the monk head, is going to give you the foundations for both a rosetta and a tulip, because you learn A, the pull through to create the pattern, and B, I see too many people trying to do the wave and doing a rosetta without doing it for a heart. You can pour in the center, create a heart, wiggle your wrist, and learn how to make a wavy pattern. Then from there, you have the foundation of a tulip and of a rosetta, because you do a tulip is basically 3 hearts with only pulling through at the end. You pour a heart, you pour above it, push forward, pour another heart, pour above it, push forward, pour another heart, pull through. For a rosetta, if you can do a wavy heart, you're pouring your wave, and then all you have to do at the end is just pull back your wrist and pull through. What do you think of that?
That's a good point.
But the monk, it's basically your monk head point. I'm basically saying the same thing as learn how to create the flow and the rhythm of the monk head and then go from there.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, that's a good point. However, I found there are 2 different types of people.
Oh,
I'll say
I don't know.
stacker and wiggler.
Ah.
So stacker cannot wiggle, wiggler cannot stack.
Oh,
sounds like me
That's
on
the
the
interesting.
dance floor.
Yeah,
You know?
interesting.
I think I got the wiggle,
That's
maybe not the
why
stack.
Can I steal this? I'm going to make a reel. Let's make a reel straight after this. You're either a stacker or a wriggler.
Yes. So in my latte art courses, I found there are 2 different types of people. It was very interesting to see them. The stacker, of course, they're beginner, learning very quickly, pick up very quickly. They can stack 3-4-layer tulip immediately. Like, wow, beautiful, even in 10 minutes. However, they were very struggle to wiggle in the rhythm or flow and everything. And then opposite case, they wiggle very quickly. No, that's a decent rosetta. Well done. But they cannot stack. I don't know what happened. So I figured out that, okay, how am I supposed to teach those people into the right stage? So that's why don't just do the basics too much. You need to know what you're good at, because you don't really know you don't know you're a stacker or a wiggler. So once you complete the monk head.
I'm a wiggler, baby.
Yeah. Once you complete the monk head, and then you want to find out if the stacking is good for you. If it's not working, try wiggling. If Rosetta is working for you. So that's the way you need to find the way in the right direction.
I know Liam's a wiggler. Liam
Oh,
is
glass.
absolutely, and I'm not just talking about on the dance floor. I'm talking about in the cup, you know. But Benny boy, I'm going to say you're a stacker.
No, I grew up on the Rosetta.
Oh, okay.
So I think I'm
Yeah, but was it any good?
Well, no. Let's be honest. But certainly, like back when I started making coffee, it was like that was where you aimed it. There wasn't even the idea of a chula. Early 2000s. It was kind of not a design that people had really thought up. So yeah, but now I'm just very out of practice.
And then question, it might be a bit redundant. Maybe we answered it in the things that you can do. But as a World Latte Art champion, what is the most common mistake you see someone do when trying to pour latte art?
Well, probably they're rushing. They're trying to pour too quickly, or in the opposite, too slow. So you're not going to get anything when you go too hard on that, when you're too gentle on that. Most of the cases they do. And then also the spilling is the issue because like I mentioned before, pouring and receiving system is not really, the angle tilting issue. That's a very common thing. Yeah.
Because to pour latte art, you need to open up the mouth of your cup by tilting it on an angle. Then as you pour the latte art, with your other hand, you have to level the cup back out. So it's kind of like that age-old thing of like rubbing your tummy and patting your head. Like you kind of have to do two things at once to master it.
Yeah, the easiest way you can master that is just whenever you touch the cup, the rim of the cup, like here, touch, and then go together.
Yep.
Yeah, just together.
I had a lot of friends, that was one of my tips. I had a lot of friends that had like little kind of shaky hands. And I was like, if you're doing it with the jug, just bring it down and just rest it and kind of
Hug on the lip of
so
the
it allows
cup.
you a bit more control
You
as
angle
you do
the
it.
cup kind of like 45 degrees, get the spout nice and close to the crema, and then as you're pouring, you're kind of angling it back out level.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Okay, so look, we've mastered the pretty patterns. We know we're experts here on beautiful milk pours, all right? But what about how it tastes? And now that back when you competed, that was something on the score sheet, but it's not really there anymore. Kind of
Wait, what? Taste used to be a part of latte art?
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Why?
Because come on, bare minimum, it's got to taste okay. Okay.
Well, they'd taste
Okay.
awful now because the latte artists are steaming their milk to like 40 degrees and then they're taking about 10 minutes to pour it. It's going to be all separated and
Just
awful.
remember, you eat with your eyes first, but then you actually eat. So make sure it tastes good. Okay, so
Oh, Liam, sorry. What do you got to say?
Now, my little question is, if now there isn't a tasting component, is there some way that you can prepare the beans that actually helps you pour? Like if you extracted something that like, you know what I mean? Get extra crema, or you can, like, it tastes horrible, but it's great for pouring.
extraction's great for latte art, but not great for taste.
I spoke to Victor Vu. I feel like he was saying you want the coffee to be like a bit aged, slightly darker roast. Is that?
Nowadays, you can't not control anything.
Can't-
Beans
what?
are supplied, machine is full automatic, and you're not allowed to. Yeah.
But I'm sure there is a bean that they use that's going to be like optimal, because sometimes like if it's overly gassy, you get all the bubbles on the top and you get some.
The best results for latte art, I would recommend in the roasting level, especially the medium to medium dark will be helpful, because lighter roast, it's very hard, why? Because the contrast and also the elements in the espresso is not really cooperating with the milk. Is kind of hard, difficult. And also most importantly, you'll lose the hips of contrast. Yeah. Because the darker crema, also you have very good contrast. And then, that makes the latte art beautiful and more like stand out. So, yeah.
All right. Well, so we've got some great designs on top. We know we can pour well. But for those of us who are maybe not so latte art proficient, taste is there for sure. And so I know it's something that you care a lot about, Caleb. You've got a cafe and you really want to have some delicious tasting coffee. Do you have a particular technique or a focus on how you dial in great espresso for good taste, not just for latte art?
Yes, we have 2 different shops and we have 14 different baristas. So to unify those skill, we have automatic grinder. So the scale is attached and the grinder is automatically scaling it. So they don't have to worry about too much. And also we have automatic temper. So they don't have to temp it manually. So those 2 are exactly the same, so I don't have to worry about. And also we have the machine, the volumetric coffee machine. So it's all programmed. You press the button, you get pretty much accurate amount of espresso. So we have like 22 gram in, 42 gram out in 25 to 30 seconds. So as long as those numbers are correct in your espresso preparation, shouldn't be too much an issue. And also I have session with all the baristas tasting. What do you think about that in terms of different recipes? Okay, let's put that like 21 and then longer extraction and longer in yield and time. So I hear the feedbacks from them. And also I want to make it more easier and structured way in terms of the espresso extraction, otherwise, avoiding the confusions and stuff. A few days ago, one of the head barista attempted to change the whole thing. That was a bit risky in the business way because our regulars would feel something's changed. You might lose some money from that. However, I said, okay, you just give it a try. This is your shop. You're in charge. You take responsibility of the coffee quality. So I said yes. And then for me, it was balanced. It was a positive. However, in strength and body was a bit thinner.
Yeah.
So I was kind of concerned that what if our customers, our regulars would feel, oh, coffee's changed or you changed anything. But fortunately, everything went well.
Well, you must have a sophisticated palate, customers with a sophisticated palate then, because my thought would be that 80% of people probably want that more traditional style, bigger body, syrupy kind of thing just to knock them off. But they're coming in and they're liking that like more balanced, nuanced, maybe cleaner cup, then good on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very interesting experience because I was pretty much concerned about it, but everything went well.
Now, for the young barista that's listening, or the old barista, maybe there's an 80-year-old barista out there that's really passionately working at this, we don't discriminate by age here. What does a great workflow for a barista look like for you? Because this can be the difference of getting coffees out in time. This can be the difference of it tasting good or being bad. What does a good workflow for a barista look like?
Well, I would say hygiene is the priority because, like a joke, I told my baristas, if I have one ammo left in my gun, I'll shoot a messy barista, then Kim Jong-un.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I'm being serious. I am being serious. Yeah, I'm going to shoot you. So
I don't know if that says more about Kim Jong-un or about the messy
so
barista.
I hate it. So hygiene is important. And also the handle with care. I don't like the barista who's doing the kung fu behind the machine. Boom, bam, bam, bam. So breaking my equipment and everything. Faster speed is important. However, you got to be gentle. You can do gentle but quickly. So the handle with care, that's the important parts. And also lastly, you should be able to read multiple orders for the faster digestion. Not just pouring, one latte, one flat white, that's it, there you go. Another one, what's next? Oh, takeaway, large flat white. Okay, steam one large flat white. I'm going to shoot you too. No. So read all the dockets all at the same time. How many smalls, how many dine-ins, steam all together.
It becomes like a beautiful mind when you have to be that person running that docket line where you just like look down it in a split second and you're like 3 soy, 2 skinny, 4 fat, and you just go through that list and then you're pulling the shots for that.
Once you get used to it, you'll realize you become really fast. And I think that's one of the key skills.
Did you find that preparation you did for the World Latte Art Championship and the workflow and efficiency of placement of things, did that help you as you started to kind of manage and oversee coffee bars?
Yes, exactly. Actually, I applied the rules from WBC and also WLAC, but mostly from WBC. There's the things, before you insert clean reams and then immediate brew and then clean. Those all in the WBC rules and regulations. I apply that rules into my bar. If anyone follow that rules, I shoot them. So
I'm
that's
sensing a theme here.
Well, a lot of bullets in that one
yes,
bullet gun.
yes. So apply that rules into the
Yep.
bar, and that helps a lot cleaner and efficient because that's the most efficient way you can actually learn from World Barista Championship technical score sheet. That helps a lot.
And that's a great tip that anyone, like either if you're at home or you're a new barista, is go online. You can download the World Barista Championship technical score sheet and the rules and regulations which unpack all of those things. And essentially it gives you, as you said, like a best practice checklist. It's not the most refined, but it's got the core foundations there of like the step by step, did you wipe the basket? Was it clean before you put the coffee in? Obviously good practice. Did you purge the group head of any old kind of coffee oils and bent grinds before you inserted? So yeah, that's a great basis to start from. And look, after you kind of have set up the cafe and you've kind of been a professional barista, you've started roasting coffee.
Yes.
And you've often kind of talked about like that process of diving into roasting was almost like starting all over again. And that transition from a very experienced barista to a new learner roaster, it's kind of an important headspace and feeling for us to get used to if you're trying to progress your career, is that like little bit of discomfort of being a learner again. What made you step into roasting and what were some of the biggest surprises as you became that new learner in that space?
Right. We never expected we would have this, in 2020, Rona. Yeah, I had a cafe in Melbourne CBD. It's called Tiger's Espresso. It's gone now. Due to COVID, we were pretty good. And then I thought I was able to buy a building. However, we had Corona. And then, it was minus 98% of profit. And the Melbourne was the longest lockdown city in the world. So literally there was no one in the street. Even the Burke Street Mall, nobody there. So that was the moment I started to shift my business model to roasting. I had previous experience, but very less. And also I had knowledge, but also knowledge is knowledge. In your brain, you would not practically produce the production roast and something. So I had to decide. I went to A Coffee to learn roasting. He accepted me and I learned from him so I could roast. At least I could roast some beans and then, recall all the old memories of how it's roasted and the sample roasting, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. If roasting is like this, then I think I can do all my own. But still, when you complete the latte art course, you can't really pour the latte out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The same. Even I learned roasting, but still I need more practice. So what I did was a still crazy moment. I just went to Zest.
Yep. Yeah.
And I tell them, can I roast here? And then what I did was just put the cooked green bean into the roaster. And then I want to see how it goes. That was a start. So that was a really good learning moment, how the chemical reactions and all the conduction convection works with the beans. And then when I was a barista, all the numbers I see is just grams, times, and that's it. But in that platform, it's like too many numbers. You have to check all the numbers all at the same time. That was a very difficult moment. So you need to check the bean temperature and ROR, and it goes, what's what? I had no idea how I did. And also after that, I had my very first batch. It was cooling down. It wasn't bad at all. So that was my another moment that, okay. If I keep that sort of the practical principles, then maybe I can have a not super, super high quality, but, reasonably well roasted coffee beans. Yeah. And then multiple practices, of course, after. And then, that was a very memorable moment for me. Yeah.
And I think a lot of new roasters kind of go on the same learning journey, right? Where they kind of have similar pains and they're trying to discover what changes the flavor outcome that I have. And you experiment and you make mistakes. Were there any particularly memorable mistakes or key learning moments that you had from those early roasting days that like shaped where you went, I'm not doing that again?
Yes. Well, basically, I put two small green bean into the machine when the machine was too hot. So the ROR heats like in a second. And then, ooh, what is happening? So of course, I had a little bit of acidity, but mostly ashy coffee. And no one explained me why that happens. And also opposite experience, like there was too much green bean into the machine, but energy level was very low. Then I had like 15-minute roast. So from that, why is this happening? So I was able to understand the energy with the chemical reaction with the beans. Okay, so that works. And then if I need to roast this much bean, and then I need that much energy in the beginning, and then also that was a Diedrich. The Diedrich is a bit different roaster than the roaster that I use now,
Which is
Loring. Yeah. So the drum holds the temperature. So after like on the developed time, you need to control the very, very micro fine tune the gas level. Otherwise, it's going to be flick or significant drop. And that was another mistake. I always have flick. So no, I don't know how to fix it.
And the flick is the rapid increase in
Rapid
the
increase
temperature.
in certain temperature.
So they talk about the flick because it looks like that on the roasting curve when you've got time and temperature, that it's increasing, but suddenly you get this exponential increase, or vice versa, like you're saying, a drop off the dip, that the beans don't become exothermic, right? Like that they don't have their own energy that continues to heat and kind of.
I hate when my beans are exothermic. It's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Sometimes
of beans.
little exothermic beans, that's nice. That's
The
good.
roasting side has to be the side for me that's just the biggest gibberish where I'm like, I have no idea what is happening here. I
Yeah.
get the,
You get
the crack, develop, blah, 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 make it great, exothermic. But speaking of getting out of our depths, can we maybe just chat about cafes for a second and opening it? Now, I think there are a lot of baristas out there that probably have this big dream of opening their own cafe, making their own vibe, creating their menu and doing that. But there's so much that goes into making a cafe that baristas probably aren't thinking about. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced when going from barista to cafe owner?
Right. You need to work on the numbers first. I know everyone's dream, opening your cafe, you want to be a cafe owner, like dreaming about, drinking espresso side of the machine. Oh yeah. Realistically, no. So my biggest challenge was to have sufficient amount of money to start with, because I thought I was able to open it with very small amount of money, but realistically not. There was a heaps of money goes in. You need to work on that. And also, apart from that, it's not about making coffee and serve the coffee. It's about work with the numbers, other numbers like taxes, labors, and fees, and also the other numbers with the invoices.
Rent,
So-
electricity.
electricity, all the bills, and also the cost of goods. You should be able to find out that first and then think about how you're going to open that. Otherwise, most of the cafes struggle to match the numbers outside of the bar, because when you sell, like, let's say you sell 50 coffees a day, how much is it? Like $5, $250 a day. And then you pay for your labor, you pay for your rent. You wouldn't really survive. So in order to survive, you need to work on the numbers before you're opening up. So rent, very important. How much is the rent? And then how many staff you would have. If you don't have any staff, do yourself. You got to work there. And then also, how big is the cafe? Is that going to be the mainly takeaway, or you want to have a bit of sit downs? And then that's very different. So takeaway predominant shop is that way, a different business model. Or also, if you have a bit of sit downs, it's also a different business model.
More stuff.
More stuff, yes. So you need to work on that first. So it's not just a dream cafe opened and you're drinking espresso right next to the machine, like, oh, beautiful sunny day. No, it could be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to say, if someone's sitting there going, I want to open a cafe, and they kind of budget out that they go, I reckon I need $100,000 to start this cafe. How much realistically do you think they should actually have saved up?
Do you have $100,000 in your bank account? No. I think most of the people, of course, should go to the bank, get some loans. And when I opened my first shop, the bank rejected my application because
Did you tell them that you were the World Latte Art Champion?
Oh, maybe, but it didn't count.
He wore the special hat.
Yes. So yeah, they rejected all my loan applications, all rejected. So I was devastated. But I knew I'm gonna have to open my own shop. It's because in 2022, the World Barista Championship was in Melbourne, and then Anthony Douglas won the World Championship. At the same time, all my friends in the world came to Melbourne and asked me, "Where can I see you? Where are you?" That was the moment I was like, "Oh, maybe I should have my own place." Because until then, I was only roasting in Zest and just supply the coffees, but I didn't have my own place. So from 2022, I was like, "Oh, maybe I should have my own place," and then saving some money from that. But still, I saved embarrassing, but I had 10,000. That's all I had. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good shout out to anyone out there that's wanting to kill it.
Honestly, I had only 10,000 in my
Wow.
bank account. And also I looked for the perfect spot for my first cafe. And I found one in Paran, which is the Tone Coffee, the first shop in Paran. Everything was perfectly ready. I think it's a turnkey place because there was a bit of a bar setup and then the spacious space. I liked it. So I thought I was able to finish everything in $10,000. Wow, beautiful. So what I did was just sign the lease, then got the key, and then they asked for, okay, you need a deposit, $10,000 deposit.
No.
That's one of the biggest mistakes I made. So I paid for the deposit and I had nothing with the key. So I took the photo with the key in the shop. So try to remember this moment. You're broke, but you have a key. And then what are you going to do? Yeah. So that was one of the hardest moments I faced. Yeah.
And what did you do?
Well,
How'd you get the money to do it?
yeah, I'm a character that feel very.
I took out my gun. I went into a bank.
I can't ask for favor. Yeah.
Ah.
No. Especially the money, the financial thing. I never ever ask for money to anyone because I know it's the very easiest way to ruin the relationship. So I know that risk of that. However, I did it this time because there's no way to get the money.
To make it happen.
Yes. So all my friends and some wealthy friends asked for money a bit. So fortunately, I got enough money to build that space. Yeah.
How much you end up dropping on it?
So I got okay, I'll tell you everything. I got 130,000 from my friends. And then I paid back in 6 months.
Hey, that's huge. But also, sorry, rewind. I believe you said at the start of the story, I just needed $10,000 to get this place up and running. Is this
That's
the
what
same
he
place?
thought.
Well, this was my question before of if you have a number in mind, double or triple that number.
By 10.
Times it by 10 in this case, or 13. Because, 10 grand to fix up a place to 130K. And was that 130 fully on setting it up?
Yes, approximately, yes. It was 120.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
left with the
give or take.
10,000. Yeah, approximately. But that's what I learned from, because, I'm type of person who just do it. Yeah, no more considerations and,
You would advise some more consideration if you're thinking of opening a cafe. But I think
They're the lessons,
you've topped out some great points here. And I think if anyone's listening that is thinking of starting a cafe, what I've heard from you, Caleb, is first thing is just know the numbers. It's kind of critical, right? That if you're owning a business and a cafe, you got to map out all of the costs, all of the likely income, all of the fit out costs. So there's kind of the startup costs of fit out, and then there's the operating costs of how much coffee do you actually need to sell. And just knowing all of the numbers, get spreadsheet geeky. And then I think secondly is a great location. You noted that the space you had already had some infrastructure and setup, which would have reduced the setup costs.
And that's a 2025 or 2026, sorry. We're in the new year here.
Yeah.
By the way, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yep.
That's a changing thing here. Renovations, labor, all of those things are wild. I would probably look the closer you are to a turnkey situation of walking in and going is going to be the easiest because you're going to blow so much money renovating in 2026.
And remember
in
that
Australia.
if you're opening your first cafe or looking to do that, you don't need to go a large venue. You want to come up with a concept and a location that can work really well. But start small, start manageable, start with less risk. Always a good way to go.
Do you know Anthony from Archie's?
Yes.
Yeah. So I helped him kick off Bluebird Espresso down on Johnson Street. But that was a place that he literally got the key for. He put as little money into it as possible and just tried to serve out some yummy food and coffee. And that was his point, to build up the money to then go and do Archie's and take it to that next level. So another way of doing it is, people still want good food and good coffee. It doesn't have to be everything. And he built it up from there and had them in mind of starting somewhere after that.
Yep.
Doing more of a fit out.
Some critical kind of skills there. And so, Caleb, you've kind of mapped out, we've talked about quite a varied career path here, from obviously starting as a barista, competition success. You've been doing some education, roasting, now business. It's what, like, a lot of the baristas that are listening into our podcast, kind of they aspire to. They go, wow, look at where Caleb's got to. How do you think baristas can identify areas and skills that will help them grow? And what advice would you have for people who want to have a long career in coffee?
Yeah, it's also a very good question. Actually, realistically, making coffee, being a barista is a very tiring job, if you're full-time, over 38 hours making hundreds of coffee all day and have to close the shop, mopping and then everything. It's very tiring. So that's why I was going to quit my job in 2014. Yeah, making 500, 600 coffees a day. But the daily life was, of course, I was able to make money. But my life, what is my life? Where is my life? So my suggestion is keep motivating yourself into some goals. Don't just repeat everything every day. Set your goal, whatever that is, maybe competing in the cup tasters or something like that. That makes you feel like, oh, maybe I should start this one. Something like that. So every 3 years, you will have a crisis in your career. 3 year, 6 year, 9 year. So every three years you have to set up your goal. So you have 3 years to be successful. For me, my first competition was 2014 without any preparation, without reading any rules. I came second place in Australia. That's weird, but lucky. However, from that, next year, I became the world champion. So you don't really know what's happening. So set up your goal, whatever that is. That's really important for your long coffee career.
Beautiful.
Great
How
advice.
fitting after our last coffee break.
Yeah,
You might have just listened to. We talked about all the goal settings and that kind of thing and how important it is and how easy, especially this is such a great point where at the start of 2026 now, people are setting their goals, and this is a good time to maybe reflect before you get sucked into the endless cycle of your job or whatever it is you're doing. Set those goals.
And kind of, I think what stands out from your story, Caleb, is just how intentional and kind of deliberate you've been with some of these things. Obviously, maybe not opening the first cafe where you're like, oh yeah, I'll just get the key. But when you go about problem solving and refining what you're doing, you've obviously have a mindset around this, champions do it a little bit differently. How do you approach staying inspired, staying motivated personally, and kind of having that new learner mindset?
That champion mindset helped me a lot because before getting into the competition, I was just a normal barista like everyone else. Like that doesn't mean I'm a superior to the others,
Yes,
but
it does.
the only mindset that I changed was you can do it mindset. So whatever you face, you can actually do it because you can do it. So keep myself in a busy or new environment or challenging environment. It's just not about how you can do it. You're already doing it. So in Korean, what do you say?
The saying?
Yeah, the saying, once you started, your 50% is already complete. Yeah. So most of the people are very concerned about how am I supposed to start, how, like roasting I did, where should I start, something like that. But just give it a try. You're already doing it. You're half successful already. And then the rest of the half is your dedication and your efforts going. So it's just don't try to think too much. It's just you are owning this atmosphere, you are owning this world. And then I can't explain like scientifically, but once you decided to do something, the whole world and energy will help you. It's weird experience for me.
You put it out into the world and it happens. Absolutely. Now, you just spoke about you saying you go through a crisis every 3 years. You have to reinvent. You have to set new goals. So 2026, what do the next 3 years look like for you, and what is next in the coffee industry?
Oh yeah, it's very loud and clear. I will be the bakery owner. Bakery cafe owner. And also I will be going overseas, potentially in Singapore. Yeah, so international branch will be launched. We're still talking about it. Potentially in Bangkok, hopefully. So the Australasian area, that's the target that I want to go for. But in Melbourne, the bakery will be happening. So because we need a really good baker, right? There's my cousin who is living in Adelaide. My plan was beautiful. Listen, so I had my cousin lives in Adelaide. He recently got the permanent residency. Beautiful. And then what I did was I asked him, hey, come to Victoria. Let's open a bakery cafe together. But he loved so much staying in Adelaide. So
Why?
I don't know.
Hey.
So
Joking, Adelaide. My sister lives there. It's great. Love it.
yeah, beautiful nature and everything. He loves that too. So what I did was I found a lady, hook him up. They are married now.
Oh, this is
Matchmaker.
for his own
A
benefit.
Melbourne-based lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh my, that is some. See,
Yeah.
this is the real lesson. We finally got to it after an hour of podcasting.
Yeah, so
manipulate your world.
She's asking him to move to Melbourne 1,000 times a day. So yeah, it's gonna happen. So he said, finally, yes, we're going in 2 years. So it will happen, definitely happen. And then we'll see how we can go from there. Because I don't know what's happening, what will happen after. But in my character, I'll be like, okay, let's go. So yeah, I don't know. We can go from there.
I love it. So you've got some very clear plans. It's just like get
That's amazing.
all of your
That's incredible.
business opportunities and get them married close to you, basically. That's what I'm hearing. If you're in search of love, this guy's got your back.
It just got really bloody steamy. it just got so steamy in here that I think it's time
Oh.
for an extra hot take with two sugars.
Nice.
I didn't cut you off there, Ben. Did you have another thing to bring in there?
No, it's
I just
all
saw the
good.
glint in his
It was
eye.
so beautiful.
Just that co-host moment of like, here we
love.
go. This is the part of the show where we like to throw to ourselves and to the guest and, just get a little spicy take, just get it off your chest because this is the place to do it. So, Caleb, can we ask you, do you have a hot take here with you today?
I think so.
I think the hot
Fill it
take
out.
is manipulate
Yeah.
your family with like love interests.
Hopefully it's not too hot. So my hot take is coffee price in Australia is too cheap.
Thank you. I'm just waiting for the one on that one.
Yes. Tell us more. Where do you think it should be?
Well, I think as a currency market price, most of the people don't know about it, but as a green bean buyer and the roaster myself, I always check. It's dramatically increased as you're not aware of it. So my suggest is around 7 to 8 per cup,
What are you charging at the moment?
$5.50.
Ooh.
Bargain.
Yeah, but I
But go
can't
up. We don't need bargains.
Yes, but I can't charge more because still a lot of people think that's why it's so expensive and such a small cup. But one day I had right after I opened the first shop, the customer asked, this like that was $5. Yeah, $5 for this small cup, and then it's ridiculously expensive. And then I sat down with her. Okay, I'll explain where the coffee comes from and how it's processed and blah, blah, blah. So I explained her, seed to cup, that's now you're drinking. Yeah? Is $5 too much still? And she goes like, oh, I didn't know. So,
Yeah.
we need a little bit more education, but that doesn't mean that you don't know anything. I know more than you. Like, not those kind of attitude. It's more like more sharing information, how coffee is cultivated and what's the situation in the farm, something like that. So I want really to charge it a little more, not charge. Yeah, it's priced a little, go up. Yeah, compared to the other European countries. If you go to Sweden or Denmark, man, it's how much is it? $9, $10 in the coffee?
Relative.
Yeah, why not in Australia?
I think that kind of ties in. It's a lot about like the hospitality, right? And there's open communication. That kind of leads in to my extra hot take with Two Sugars. I think some of the better baristas working out there in cafe are losing what's important. We're focused on too much of what I think the coffee should taste like, what I think it should be. But if you think back to when you first started as a barista, the thing that made you fall in love with it was serving a customer and have them have an amazing experience, have them turn to you and be like, oh my God, I loved this so much. Listening to them, evolving with them, talking with them, communicating. And I think sometimes as you go on in your career, you might get a bit bitter. You might get a bit kind of held off and you think that you know what's right. And I think you need to always look back to what really made you fall in love with making coffee. Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of the time it is that connection with the customer.
I love that energy of make a great connection, charge a little bit more because the cup quality's there. I guess we're all playing into this same themed hot takes today because mine's definitely service orientated as well. My hot take is that I think that we consistently underestimate the coffee drinker. We always go with the lowest common denominator. We assume that all they're up for is just a safe chocolate, nuts, some body, and we dumb down what we're willing to offer to them. So give them exceptional coffees, allow them to kind of go, wow, I really think this is different and unique and higher value. We can give them those moments you're talking about, Ron, and we can charge the prices you're talking about, Caleb, that will actually sustain a coffee business.
And that like you look back at some of the reason I had my hot take was because you spoke about like what made me fall in love. It's the connection. And I would say like 80% of people that we've had on this podcast, it isn't because of the amazing coffees that they got into coffee. Yeah. It isn't because of traveling around the world. It's because of the connections that they're making. It seems to really be the core foundation of all of that. And if you look at places where it's just communication, talking to the customer, Jack Simpson, I think, said when they first started doing batch brew, right? They weren't selling enough of it, but rather than letting it get old and stale and taste gross, when time was running out, they'd then go around to customers and be like, hey, give this a try. This is something different, and started serving out little batch brews, and it opened their eyes step by step. You're tasting something a little bit different and you're getting excited about it. And then also we talk about sensory training and communication and talking about coffee. Not all of us can communicate in the way that sensory, experts can talk about coffee. And so sometimes people struggle to communicate, but it doesn't mean they're not tasting it or understanding. When a customer comes up to you with a complaint or a thought about a coffee, try to understand why they're feeling that, what it is. They may be saying you did something wrong and it's not, so you get offended. But listen to them and go like, oh, well, actually, maybe I need to do a bachelor shot for you with the milk because maybe that's going to be more what you're after. And then you can turn a complaint into a long-lasting customer. Maybe next time when you come in, ask for your coffee like this and it will taste exactly like that. Great, I'm going to do that. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but we got there.
Great advice. Yeah. Well, we also have another little segment on the show that we like to just share the love and shine the spotlight on someone who maybe needs a little bit more attention. Do you have anyone, Caleb, that you want to give a particular shout out to?
Well, so many. But I really want to thank, there are a few people there. Most importantly, the people who gave me the opportunity to leave like forever, stay in Australia. Yeah. In order to have that permanent residency, Brent Williams and also the Kieran, the previous Aska, boss, big boss. What is that, the word? President, yes. Thank you. Thanks, Ben. And also Ross, yeah, he was also helping, and Bruno as well. Thank you very much. And also my Q grader instructor right next to me, Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, I learned enormous knowledge from him. It's just like beautiful. And also the Melissa, my first coffee career. Yeah. So many people, and also
my new best friend,
new best friend, Rowan.
Yeah!
Thanks for
Oh my
the
God.
hosting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of your
And then
knowledge.
Liam as well.
And no, God damn it! Thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of that knowledge. And now, of course, I'm sure there are some people who are excited to drink your coffee, to come and see you. Where can they find your coffee? Where can they find your shops?
Well, the first shop in Paran, 121 High Street, Paran. It's on the High Street. You can actually find it. It's right opposite from the Paran High School. So it's a little bit hiding, but you need to keep an eye on it. And the second shop is the roastery. Ton Coffee Roasters is on Queensberry Street, 653 Queensberry Street, North Melbourne. So if you're close to the city or the north, you can easily access to the venue.
Is it only in shop? Can people order online or?
beans.
Some beans. Yeah, there is a website.
Yeah.
Yeah. toncoffeeroasters.au.
Yeah.
nocom.au.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can
Oh.
find the beans and you can order online.
Own
Yeah.
coffee roasters, and you can check them out on Instagram as well.
Instagram, toncoffee
_.
Melb. Toncoffee _Melb. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I'm sure people will be looking that up because, I mean, what a great episode. We've got Liam again just watching videos over at the desk and interrupting me as I'm doing
I'm
a
very
really hard.
conscientious there, Liam.
But thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, if you have someone that's coming up in the coffee industry wanting to be a latte artist, business owner, roaster, share this episode with them because I think they're going to get something out of it, even if that one thing is to have one bullet in your gun.
Yeah.
And have it ready to let it go. I hope you've had a great start to the year.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, drop us any email with questions or other suggestions for great guests like Caleb to come on the show at helloitsjustcoffeepod.com. That's right.
Yeah.
.com. Or
Got it.
drop us a DM with any ideas or thoughts, feedback on the podcast. We'd love to hear from you.
Now, I was told that Caleb actually pulled out the one bullet gun on you. Why was that again? What were you doing that he had a gun out?
I did a censored latte art depiction in my latte art. There's a whole subculture there going on.
Oh, the whole
like-
subculture of weenie art. Yeah, I know what we're talking about.
I did not
We
actually
don't have
do
to
that.
beat around the bush. I'll do it after this show, actually. We'll see how we can do with our skill sets. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Oh,
Amazing.
what an episode. Dude, thank you so much.